So how to talk about these things with your students? There are different ways you can use those maps. You can create some exercises where, to make sure that we all understand those connections, we'll look into those climate drivers. Remember those global climate change problems? Well, that will be an example. So changes in weather, for example. What is an example of a change in weather? You could say that's an environmental condition. That is higher temperatures during summer, just for example, right? And how do we will say what will be the regional or the local impact? We could say then heat waves. And if we think about what health conditions are impacted or are the result of these heat waves, this is heat exhaustion, heat stroke, hyperthermia, dehydration. These are just some of the result of heat waves, right? And if we will think, okay, well, we know all these, but who is more vulnerable to these consequences, to all these issues? Then we can think about, for example, urban communities where there are a lot of paved surfaces, there's little vegetation, maybe no access to ACs. Maybe those people who work in the outdoors, as I mentioned, for example, agricultural workers, those elderly, maybe children, or maybe people that have a chronic condition linked to the heart, right? So you could look into these different, explore each one of these different and ask different factors and ask your students to put a post-it. They could work in teams, they could look into different climate drivers, or you can start from different environmental hazards and you can ask them to complete the relationship with other factors or other areas. You will see that some post-its might be linked. So maybe you have different climate drivers, but they might be one environmental condition, or that could be several environmental conditions that have a similar environmental hazard. So this is just to give you an idea on how to look and explore into these relationships with your students.